You're watching the most exciting game you will ever see on your TV set. Telstar by Coleco with 3 different games. Telstar Tennis with digital scoring, variable speeds.
So I was talking to some folks and they were discussing, why can't we just enjoy video games like before? Why do we have to criticize stuff? Doesn't matter what the story is or how the characters look like. Games should just be played and enjoyed. Well, it's not that simple anymore. Let me explain. Video games have come a long way. In the 1970s and 80s, the foundation for video games was laid with the release of arcade classics like Pong and Space Invaders. The introduction of home consoles like the Atari 2600 in 1977 also marked a significant step.
Attention shoppers, the new Atari cartridge game is in.
Excuse me.
Uh-oh, George again.
But it was in the 1990s that video games transformed into something much more.
Beyond the edge of reality lies a story of ultimate conquest.
In the 90s decade of transformation, we saw the transition from 2D to 3D graphics, revolutionizing game design and player experience. Games like Super Mario 64 and Tomb Raider showcased the potential of 3D environments. The release of consoles like the Sony PlayStation and Nintendo 64 brought more powerful hardware, enabling more complex and visually impressive games. Alone in the Dark introduced the survival horror genre, which was then taken to the next level by games like Resident Evil and Silent Hill. And let's not forget how Metal Gear Solid revolutionized cinematic storytelling. We also witnessed the rise of personal computers as gaming platforms that led to the development of iconic games like Doom and StarCraft, which pushed the boundaries of graphics and gameplay. The late 1990s saw the beginning of online multiplayer gaming with titles like Quake and Ultima Online, setting the stage for the future of online gaming. Video games that were just meant for some limited enjoyment had evolved into fandoms.
Gotta go.
Hey guy, you're the first serious gamer I've seen all morning. Check this out, brand new 16-bit Super Nintendo with Super Mario World. Wow!
Oh, what's this one?
Oh, this is a Sonic the Hedgehog from Sega Genesis. Hey, look at these radical colors, huh?
Wow, Sonic's fast too.
No, over here.
I like Genesis, and it costs a lot less.
Wait, kid, that game
I'll
there.
take Sonic and Genesis.
I knew that.
What started off as a simple game of Pong has today become a multi-billion-dollar industry that's bigger than the movie and music industries combined. This growth is driven by the increasing popularity of gaming across all demographics from children to adults. The industry also supports a vast ecosystem of jobs from game development to esports and streaming. These days, creating a modern video game is a monumental task. Development cycles can span several years, involving hundreds of professionals including designers, programmers, artists, writers, actors, and so much more. The budget of a AAA game can rival that of a Hollywood blockbuster, often exceeding $100 million. Video games have become a significant part of our cultural fabric. They are a medium for storytelling capable of conveying complex narratives and emotions. Games like The Last of Us and Red Dead Redemption 2 are celebrated for their storytelling prowess comparable to the best in literature and film.
I'll have to take your word on that. Good day.
Moreover, games often reflect and influence societal issues, offering commentary on topics like war, politics, and human relationships. In an increasingly digital world, video games provide a platform for social interaction. Multiplayer games and online communities allow people to connect, collaborate, and compete with others worldwide. And if you still don't believe that video games are that big or have any economic or social impact, just know that since its release in 2013, GTA 5 has made close to $8 billion as of August 2023, with a budget of $200 million. And soon enough, we'll be having video games in the Olympics.
Asleep amidst the trees, bats all a-swaying in the breeze.
Now that we have established how big the video game industry is, how long it takes to make a game, and how these games have economic and social impacts, let's look at the things from a consumer's perspective: the gamer. Gamers can be categorized into two categories: the average casual gamer and the hardcore. The casual gamers enjoy playing games that they like. They don't delve deep into things like lore, storytelling, gameplay mechanics, and so on. They start a game, play it, and as long as they find it entertaining, they'll appreciate it and then move on to the next one. Then we have the hardcore gamers.
Where's me? Lifeline, use! Where's Lifeline?
Then show me what you know. I am home. Feed us.
They make up the core of the fandom. When they play a game, they delve deep into the lore, storytelling, gameplay mechanics, music, epic scenarios, and so on. These gamers are fans of the franchises and want them to be great and successful. Whether it's a casual enjoyer or a hardcore fan, in today's economy with the rising inflation, these consumers have to manage their expenses and decide what to buy. With the ever-increasing development time and costs, video games have become more expensive than ever, and so have consoles. Not only that, but the makers of these consoles are limiting accessories and profiting off of them by selling them separately. For example, the original PS5 came in two versions, one with the disc drive and the other slightly cheaper digital version which came without it. However, both versions came with a vertical stand. Now compare this to the PS5 Pro, which costs $700 USD and doesn't even include the disc drive nor the stand. If a gamer wants to enjoy playing games online with others, an additional purchase to online memberships is required. All of this has a huge impact on the consumers. They want to purchase a game that they're a fan of, a game that they've been looking forward to, with interesting characters, an amazing story, great reviews, and above all else, a game that resonates with them and is fun to play. At the end of the day, they want to get their money's worth. Their decision will ultimately affect those big gaming studios who invest years and millions of dollars in developing these games. When Star Wars Outlaws was first announced, fans were enthusiastic. They were over the moon, as this was to be the first ever open-world Star Wars game. Gamers that purchased the Ultimate Edition got a 3-day early access pass, which was more expensive than the base game. Nevertheless, there were people who were skeptical or didn't trust Ubisoft to make a decent Star Wars game. Now, you might just look at this and go, hey, these people are hating on a game that is yet to even release. But the reality of it is that this is their genuine criticism. Hate and criticism are two different things. While some might show their hate, others with genuine criticisms can also be identified. People have every right to criticize any product just like they have the right to look forward to it and pre-order. Let's assume that these were not genuine criticisms and were acts of hate on a game that had yet to release and on its studio. Fast forward to its release date, this is what the game looked like. Star Wars Outlaws released with a game-breaking bug. Gamers that paid extra money to get their 3-day early access were asked to delete their save files and start fresh, right on par with those who paid the regular amount for the base game. There were no refunds made for anyone who got early access. Would you agree this is fair? Was it the consumer's fault that they were given a game which was literally broken? Who is to blame here? The game developer or those who foresaw this and shared their criticisms? Let me know in the comments below. Imagine devoted fans of Batman or Spider-Man or any other franchise for that matter, who want their movies to do great and be epic whenever they release, who want to keep talking about them for weeks and brag to their friends about it. If these movies are not good, they'll feel bad, disappointed, and will come up with things as to how their movie could have been better by incorporating different plot points or different action sequences. But if these movies keep disappointing them, they'll probably move on to something else and lose interest in that franchise. Same is the case here. Ubisoft failed to meet the fan expectations with the last few games, and fans just aren't interested anymore. Remember Sonic? This is what it was, and when fans revolted, we got this. And the movie became a successful franchise. Now this is not to say that businesses should always listen to their fans, but they should listen to genuine criticisms and where it matters. And if you tell them that they don't, well, then you've already lost your case. Because this is exactly what happened with Concord, a game that was being considered to be one of the biggest and greatest games ever created. Rumor has it that it was in development for 8 years with a budget of over $400 million. That's more than any Hollywood movie. No, James Cameron, you're good. When people saw it first, they shared their thoughts. Even after the game released, some tried to sympathize with the game developers, but the devs reacted very negatively. So what happened? 2 weeks in, the game was gone. Refunds were made, and this statement came out. Now, I'm not even going to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Well, maybe just a bit. Gamers long wanted for an Assassin's Creed game to be set in feudal Japan, and they got it. But Ubisoft pulls out something historically accurate from under the rug which did not sit well with the gamers, especially Japanese gamers. One of the main characters turned out to be a black samurai. Gamers spoke up, but Ubisoft further strengthened their stance on this being historically accurate, which many Japanese people believe to be incorrect. The studio then showcased a video of Yasuke, the historically accurate black samurai, make his way through a village with the local villagers bowing to him before brutally dealing with some enemies, all to the tune of some hip-hop music.
Greed cannot rule this village, not while I have breath in my lungs and a blade in my hand. I said kill him!
This further created a rift between the developers and the consumers, but Ubisoft didn't stop there. They even ended up doing this. A broken torii gate, a Japanese symbol that withstood the atomic bomb, is casually being used as something for one of the main characters to sit upon. This is a prime example of a studio being culturally insensitive. Long story short, the backlash grew. Ubisoft pulled out of the Tokyo Game Show at the last moment, realizing that the Japanese gamers won't leave them alone. AC Shadows has been delayed. The studio's stock price has dropped drastically and is being investigated by their board. Things aren't looking too good. I wouldn't be surprised if the studio completely drops the Black Samurai or changes its role to something limited or more supportive. If the studio admits their mistake and comes out saying, hey, we listened and we fixed it, they'll gain the support and respect of their consumers and fans. All of this was just to explain to you how much video games matter and the impact they have. The consumers take their games very seriously, and the developers should listen to genuine criticisms. Let's say you own a burger joint. Your burgers are amazing, but they're slightly costly than those available in the market. Your customers love your product and tell you how awesome it is, and you know that, but they also share their feedback that the cost is a bit too high. Now, you have the option to respond to that feedback in one of two ways. You can either say, thank you, I will take that into consideration and see what I can do. However, I do not want to compromise the quality of my product, but I will definitely try to see what can be done. Or you can respond by saying that if you don't like it, then this is not for you. I pride in the quality of my product, and if you think it's costly, well, you can go buy something else from somewhere else. What do you think is going to happen in these scenarios? In the first one, the customer will feel appreciated that you were willing to consider their feedback. In the second one, the customer will most likely never come back to your establishment. They will share their experience with others, and you might end up losing your business. Everyone wants their business to do good. That's why we have customer services where businesses try to satisfy their customers and address their genuine complaints so that their products can keep selling. The number of gamers is ever increasing. Kids from 3 years to adults over 60 play video games on at least one device. Whether you're a small indie studio or a big gaming giant, you need to appeal to them so that they buy your products. Anyone can identify between hate and genuine criticism or feedback. Developers should be more open to criticism and listen to their consumers when and where it matters, because video games now mean so much more than they ever did.